Welcome, MHP Rhino Nation, to another episode. Let's dive deep into MHP's baby.
Yeah. Today, we're going to talk about a really powerful tool that honestly not enough people know about. It's called seller financing, and it can take a property sale from being a massive tax headache and turn it into a brilliant long-term investment. So let's dive in and see how this actually works. All right, picture this. You've just sold your property, you've closed the deal. Congratulations, that's huge. But then comes that letter from the IRS, the one with the massive tax bill. For a lot of sellers, it's a real painful shock to the system. And here's why that shock is so big. With a totally standard sale, your entire profit gets taxed all at once, in a single year. Bam! You get hit with this enormous, one-time bill. But with seller financing, you spread that profit out over many years. So instead of one huge bill, you get smaller, way more manageable tax payments. I mean, the difference is just night and day. Now, that giant one-time bill, it's got a name: capital gains tax. When you get a massive lump sum of cash from a sale, it can totally inflate your income for that year, and that can push you into a much, much higher tax bracket. And that costs you a huge chunk of the profit you worked so hard for. But what if there was a smarter way to play this? Well, there is. Seller financing offers a fantastic solution. And you gotta understand, it's not just some alternative way to sell. No, it's a really sophisticated financial strategy, and it's all built around a powerful tax mechanism. So the engine that makes this whole thing run is called the installment sale method. See, instead of paying tax on the entire profit right away, you only pay tax on the piece of the profit you actually get each year. It completely changes the game by changing when you have to pay your taxes. I just love this line from our source material because it makes the whole idea click instantly. You're not just a seller anymore. You become the bank. You're the one giving the loan to the buyer. And when you do that, you suddenly gain a massive amount of control and, more importantly, tax efficiency. So by becoming the bank, you're not just closing a single deal and walking away. You're actually converting this one-time cash event into a steady, reliable stream of passive income. It stops being just a sale, and it turns into this carefully crafted, tax-advantaged retirement plan. And this whole idea of becoming the bank, well, it unlocks some really specific and, frankly, compelling advantages. The real magic is in deferring that huge initial tax hit, which then creates this cascade of other benefits for you as the seller. So let's look at the big four benefits here. First, you defer your capital gains. That right there immediately helps reduce your overall tax rate. Then you're creating a steady, predictable cash flow. And this is a big one, you even get to spread out the depreciation recapture tax. As any property owner knows, that can be a particularly nasty surprise in a regular sale. Just think about it. That huge lump sum from a standard sale, it can absolutely skyrocket your income, shoving you into a crazy high tax bracket for that year. But with the smaller annual payments from seller financing, your taxable income stays lower, potentially saving you an absolute fortune over the life of the loan. And hey, let's not forget the income part of passive income, right? As the bank, you're earning interest on the rest of the loan. And we're talking about really competitive rates, usually somewhere between 6.5% to 8.5%. This turns your equity into a productive working asset that literally sends you a check every single month. Okay, so the benefits are crystal clear. But, knowing about them is one thing. Successfully pitching this to a seller is a whole other ballgame. So how do you take this from just a cool concept to an actual commitment? Well, it all comes down to a 4-step strategic pitch. But first, a really important note here. While we're laying out the strategy, every single seller's financial situation is unique. So it is absolutely essential that you advise them to go talk to their own CPA or tax professional to get advice for their specific circumstances. So the process follows 4 really powerful steps, and it's all about timing and how you frame it. First, you set the stage just by listening. Then you pitch this as a solution to their problems. You make a crystal clear offer. And finally, you close on the concept itself. The key is you never lead with seller financing. It's like the ace up your sleeve that you play at exactly the right moment. Your pitch has to frame this as just a smarter investment for them. Using a line like, "You become the bank," is so powerful because it highlights that their money keeps working for them. But now, it's completely passive. No more phone calls, no more headaches, just a monthly check. And look, to make this idea feel real, you have to get past the hypotheticals. This is where you present a clear, professional offer that lays out all the key parts, like the down payment, the interest rate, the term. This is what builds confidence and shows them you're serious. And remember this, the goal here isn't to get a signature on a contract right there on the spot. The initial mission is way simpler. You just want to get a verbal agreement, a handshake, on the concept itself. You're selling the big idea first. The nitty-gritty details can come later. And finally, you close. Not with some hard sell, but with a question that's focused 100% on their benefit. By shifting away from just the numbers, you connect to what they really want: security, stress-free income, and peace of mind. You're reframing the whole discussion around their future, and that is an incredibly powerful way to end the conversation.